Hey people, while researching Jeremiah it led me to this book of Diogenes Laertius. Contrary to what they say, this was Alexander's dog. This was Alexander's astrologist, and he was said to live in a barrel because he was a drunk. Every time he went to find him, he was always found drunk in the tavern somewhere. When I started reading this, there was a lot of words that I recognized real quick, and you will too. uh, Philosopher, Barbaron, Babylonius, Chaldean, Druid, Aristotle's, Magick, and Atlanta. And I wanted to see how they were interpreting this. So I clicked that Google interpreter. They had Thraca interpreted as Jesus Christ, and the Libyan Atlanta they had as the Holy Ghost. So I saved this to my paint to break down later, and I went on down the book to read some things I was looking for. So after investigating some other things in the book, I came back up and hit the interpreter again, and 40% of the words changed. It changed the whole meaning. I thought I'd witnessed the Mandela Effect happen before my eyes, and then I noticed what I did was I left the top word off, and that one word of the which interprets in French as the premier, the premion, or the preamble, changed the meaning of the whole paragraph underneath it. So I tried it again by leaving it 3 lines off the top and grabbing a couple lines from the next paragraph, and it changed it again. And so now this Atlanta was the Libyan Atlantic. So it is true in alchemy that the meaning of a word changes depending on its context, the word in front of it, the word behind it. But their translation is total bullshit. So this book of Daniel, this is the knowledge bind of the cycles. And this Chaldeans is graphics that's in the book of the art to help interpret the book of Daniel, or the knowledge bind through the cycles. So my reading of the drunk philosopher led me to this book they call the Dialogue of the Gods, which is really about the connections of the planets in astrology. It says there on the bottom, the CPT, to, to give the picture seals, or to the fold to open the writings of Dens through the cycles. There was a problem with the blue ink, and I had a tough time uh, reading some of the writings of Mars, so I found it on Wiki. I found a better copy here. It's written in the ancient Greek, so I hit the translator and scanned down real quick, and and I saw this word drugs, uh, and so I've checked the ancient Greek to see the word is spelt pharmakia, and that's when I realized that Q, that same Q in philosopher pronounces a F, is the QRM, to come after the first waters. So I plugged it in my search, and the first time it come up was the end of Genesis 34. And you can see here that the T used to look like an X to mean the writings, and the plants had used to look like a plant growing, and it evolved into a man laying on his side when they were making fun of their fathers. Before they had a plow, they had to lay down and dig a hole to plant. But most likely it's because they had ate a mushroom and laid down and started having visions. You can see this here with Eve spelled with an A, meaning the connected knowledge. And so Adam done ate a mushroom, and he's out having visions, and He's connecting with this knowledge of the all. This means your feminine side that comes out when you do the love drugs. So to get a better idea what they're talking about, I went back one verse to 35:27, and it says, to make in the knowledge, to make to see after in, learn the bind, to make the plants divide after, and learn in to make connect the memory from the waters of the head's knowledge, the memory. And I had to search for that, and I sure found it. It sure looks like the book of the art I've been looking for. It has the pictures of the creatures of earth, the plants and the animals and minerals. It's got this picture of the murex, which is the most valuable substance on earth, is this purple dye extracted. Uh, the crystalline structure looks like it's probably a drug, the only reason it would be so valuable. It says here this snail uses it to sedate its prey, and I'm sure this is the myrrh talked about in the Bible. So this next line with the farm in it is get a list of books to read. It says learn the writings of the plants to learn from seed, and learn the writings and to come after the first waters, or the farm. Learn the writings to divide the first work life from. Learn the writings of the knowledge to consume first and to see work to begin. Learn the writings of knowledge to consume first and to consume through the bind after separate. So you can see where our word farm come from, and I'm sure that it was coded writings from Egypt, and this is what they told the goyim, that they were looking at the animals when it really represented the plants and books they were working from. The next time farm comes up is at the end of chapter 46 and the beginning of 47, and it's talking about the pharmaceutical of anise, and that would be what they make absinthe out of. That was an outlawed liquor. It was said to have hallucinogenic properties. They don't see it anymore, and I'm sure it's because they're not working in the cycles correctly. All the plantings and cuttings and extractions, all the processes have to be done in their correct cycles with their connected planet. So this last chapter is called the Connected Knowledge Writings of Judah, or to make the connection through life. This is what it starts talking about here at the beginning of the next chapter. It's telling you what this chapter is about. And it's telling you that it's going to teach you how to open your eye of Ra, the head's eye of life. And I kind of cheated. I figured this out when I decoded the first line. I kind of figured this out from the English version. And it made it a lot easier to try to decode this. I don't think it could be done without it. But the writings of Adam are the writings of the dome, and it evolved into Jesus, and it came from Egypt, and it was the writing of the stars and the planets, and it told when and what to do and what stars to work under. And it had all the instructions coded for the kings. A lot of these writings are still here, and all the code books are hidden underneath the Vatican. They got 57 miles of books. That's about 600,000 books compared to your one. And they're keeping up with all of history because they know that it's in a cycle. It keeps repeating itself. It goes over and over. And they use this information to keep the power. They've changed the language. They gave the word thought the meaning of sin. Thought, it means to collect the knowledge. Every time it comes up in every different which way in the knowledge, they give it the meaning sin. They try to make it knowledge a sin. They don't want you thinking. They want you to be a sheep. And It's time for the world to wake up. God is love, and He's really lonely. He doesn't have any companions visiting these days. Wake up, people. It's time.